How we doing, boys? Gabriel here again. Just going over another build guide for the Holy Fire Monk. It's basically the same as my Holy build that I've put up before, but this one is utilizing Radiance Rune and a Furnace. It's basically an updated version of it, which I find to be, quite efficient. So let's get straight into it. We're going to jump straight into some gameplay here, and I'll give you an overview of what it's like, how it feels, so on and so forth, and then we'll go into the build itself. So just enjoy the gameplay footage. I'll try and commentate over the top as we go. But yeah, it's actually pretty easy. You just cyclone strike everything, pick up everything as you go. You know what I mean? It's really not really that difficult, but it's nice to farm Death Press on efficiently. So you just keep dashing around and keep smashing through shit. It's really a simple build. It feels really fun to play. It feels very natural as far as actual gameplay is concerned, and it's pretty much as efficient as the U6 in my opinion. That's obviously going to be debatable depending on your personal preference, but in my personal opinion it's about the same. Get this goblin here. I don't actually want anything from it unless it's a lion's claw like that one was, but yeah, I'll take the mats because I like the mats. But yeah, basically the idea is to scoot around the map and just look for elite density, and as soon as you find it, just smash it out really quick. I actually don't have one of my binds done. Oh shit. Fuck me. Okay, 1 second. Okay, that should have it. I just forgot what my keybinds were, that's all. I was wondering why I was running out of spirits so quick. But yeah. Just let me find an elite pack, because the idea of this is to find your elite pack and destroy it as quickly as possible, because as soon as you do it, you get your Ingon prop. And then you can really go ham with this build. So now you're just darting around, trying to find those elite density, like this. Then you just chew through it and keep moving. It's really efficient gameplay. Unless you get unlucky with crits, but it's whatever. Everybody gets unlucky with crits. As you can tell, like, gold isn't really a problem. Your toughness won't be a problem after you get going a couple. Once you really start collecting that stuff, but just that map gave me 3/4 of my revs. U6 you can utilize, the Ingiom and get the same sort of effect, but I just don't find it as efficient. I find this much more efficient. Like, you're just one-hitting shit. Most of the times in U6 on T8 you're gonna have to do a second rotation, and that's obviously not ideal for speed farming. You want to be able to just chew through it as quickly as humanly possible and move on. And with this one, you pretty much one-hit everything, including elite packs. Ideally, you'd have an Envious Blade, just so you could really, take it to the bank as far as killing things in one hit is concerned. But until you got it, you're still going to one hit everything, like you can see. Like, with the amount of damage you get, it's still, you're still pretty much one hitting everything anyway. But ideally you want to be able to one hit these elite packs as you run into them, and then just keep moving. And I don't have my Envious Blade yet, I haven't farmed it out, but the build works just fine without it. Like, you do not need it. It's not a required piece, it's a recommended piece. Any single-handed weapon that's got good damage rolls on it, preferably like a 10% roll or something like that, is going to be what you're looking for on your main hand. Or your offhand, it just depends which one rolled better. But you definitely want Ancient Gear, because it just allows you to really hammer through this stuff. But as you can tell, like, elite packs ain't anything. I can just chew through them really quick, and it's really good to get it champ pack just before the RG. Like, that wasn't the best demonstration of it. Like, I can do another one towards the end of the video if you guys want, but yeah, that's less than a 4-minute run, or about a 4-minute run from my timer that I've got running on the side here. So nevertheless, that's the sort of shit that you're looking at. It's quick, it's efficient. Well, I do this just so you guys can see the lion's claw, and it's trash. It's got area damage, but area damage isn't really a thing at the moment. Make the changes to the meta that have just happened. Well, the fuck thing in the meta anyway. Okay, let's go have a look. We'll do this. So basically it utilizes the Raymond 6-piece, and it's that simple. You know, obviously Ancient is better, but I don't have Ancient at this point, but what I do have is, you know, pretty well statted. So in my hand I've got Shannon's Relentless Assault. It's an amazing roll, and I've got the only thing that would make this better is Life on Hit. But yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 Ancient ones in my stash. This is just the one that's got the highest damage roll, so I'm using it. I could actually roll that 10% off for 10% damage and make this even better. But yeah, with this build at the moment, like, I'm using this, it's just because it's damaging one hand. Like, any well rolled Ancient damage is good enough for this. So yeah, just put your highest damage roll in your main hand. In my offhand I've got an Ingium. Obviously it's not that great. It's pretty much the best that I can get it for a non-Ancient, but nevertheless it's worthwhile, and the build really does revolve around having this. It depends on the rolls, but yeah, you definitely want this here. You want this in your offhand or your main hand, depending on the rolls. Raiment boots, dex fit, regen life, movement speed, all good. Secondary res. On the pants you want dex vit, and ideally you'd want something other than armor, but armor's just fine. We'll go to the chest. We'll go to crushing wave, dex vit, dashing strike damage, secondary res. Really simple stuff. Shoulders, you'd want dexterity, you'd want cooldown reduction, you'd want resource cost reduction, and you'd want dashing strike damage. On the gloves, the same thing again, but minus the RCR, so you're going dex, crit, and then cooldown reduction. On the rings, ideally you'd want crit, cooldown reduction, which is good, or crit, resource cost reduction. It just depends on how much CDR you have. Same thing over here, crit, cooldown reduction, or crit, RCR, with secondary res on both. Strong arm braces, so when you do your cyclone, you know, it damages everything, another additive 30%. So you'd want fire damage, you'd want dex fit, and crit. On your neck, you're definitely going to want an Ancient neck, so something better than this is okay, but like, this is the best I've managed to find at this point as far as crit necks are concerned. I've got a better Broken Promises one in my stash and stuff like that. I've got a few good Broken Promises ones in my stash, but it doesn't really matter, you know, what you're actually using in this. As long as it's got crit, then you're pretty much good. Survivability isn't an issue, so you don't need to worry about it. So crit dex is absolutely viable. On the helm, you want dex fit crit with secondary res if you can get it. But the strange thing about this build is you don't actually use harmony at all. Like, you don't need it, so there's no point in really having the secondary res, but it's just best to aim for that sort of thing. In general, there are all resist options out there, especially for the Mangle build that I'm actually putting together at the moment, but yeah, that's for a future video. We'll go to gems. So we got Go-Go Swiftness just for the extra CDR and the extra attack speed, because the attack speed is what keeps the spirit up and allows us to be a little bit more generous with our spams. Bane of the Trapped, obviously it's a must-have gem. It's multiplicative. It's a flat 33.9% at this point. I'm probably going to do some runs later on today and try and get that up to about 75. And I've got Boon of the Hoarder, over here for the movement speed and the gold drop. The gold is redundant. I don't really need the gold as far as like actual currency is concerned, but what I am using it is the 1-for-1 conversion rate with gold wrapped to armor. So every single piece of gold that I get 1 armor. Then when you've got this up to 100%, every enemy is just going to explode into like 4 stacks of gold. You pick all that sort of stuff up, you're pretty much running around invulnerable. Like at the moment I've got 9 million toughness, which is nothing. It's absolute crap. But when this procs and you pick it up with that, this goes up into the billions. So you can AFK Molten in T10 if you wanted to, and you'd be completely okay. So yeah, that's basically the setup. Ideally you want above 50% crit. I just don't have the rings for it at this point in time, but it's completely okay. Like the idea is to, when you do crit, to really hammer home. So if you've got enough survivability and stuff like that, like play around with this build. It's nothing's ever set in stone. So think for yourself, but like if you wanted to, you could go Witching Hour. If you wanted more CDR, you could go this, even though this is like not really required. Okay, you've got enough CDR on your gear already. But Witching Hour is definitely a viable option if you're not scared about being one hit or anything like that. So yeah, that's definitely an option for you. Over in the cube, you've got 2 options in the cube for your weapon slot. You got your furnace, which is probably my personal favorite because it just allows you to really get down those elites quick. But if you wanted to, you could easily just swap across to the flying dragon here, and that would also be a valid option. We've got nemesis braces. Like I use this for Despress farming and stuff like that. Like you can use the Sager set, but there's just not enough space for it. So ideally I'd want the Sager set, but you just can't get it. So we're maximizing out the amount of Despress we can actually get, and this allows us to, whenever we click a shrine, just to get an extra champ pack up there to chew through. It also keeps our Ingion proc up. So if there's no elite pack in sight, but you do run into a shrine, you can get a refresh, which is really handy. It's actually pretty OP for this build. But that's the same in Season 3 with the Raymond set speed farming build. And we got Ring of the Zodiac just to increase our cooldown reduction. That's basically it. You know what I mean? It's really not a hard build to play. It's not a hard build to create, really. As long as you got Raiment, it's still very viable. Like as soon as you get your full Raiment build and every other piece, Focus and Restraint, your Gold Wrap, and you get your Hoarder and your Bane of the Trapped and stuff like that, as soon as you get that to 25 and you've got enough crit and crit damage, like mainly you want to stack crit damage, but ideally you'll have an Envious Blade right here, and that's why you want to prioritize crit damage over crit chance, because when you do hit with that Envious Blade, it's 100% if crit chance if the mob is at full HP. So when you dive in there, if you got stacked crit damage, you're just gonna hammer things, man. And that is at the point, when I get my Envious Blade, that is at the point where I'd probably swap this out and go to a Witching Hour, drop the Bane of the Hoarder and put like Bane of the Powerful or something like that in there. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. I'll run over the skills really quick just so you can actually see them, but this is the actual setup. So we'll go to the skills. So we got Rising Tide. This is why I call it the Holy Fire build, because we do actually utilize a generator that's of holy variety, just to give us a little bit of an extra boost into our spirit pool. We've got Cyclone Strike Implosion, okay, just to really create that density, and it synergizes well with Determination, plus you seize the initiative. Epiphany Insight, seeing as though you're using Gold Wrap and Burn of the Hoarder, you don't have to worry about damage, so you may as well just use Epiphany Insight, 1 for the teleport and 2 just for the extra speed regen. And when you are actually moving around the map, this is going to trigger so many times, both because of your Zodiac Ring and your Ingion proc. This is always going to be up. And here's what allows you to drop the Flying Dragon from your cube, and that's the Radiance Ring, which gives you an extra 15% for 4 seconds after using Dashing Strike. And seeing as though this is constantly up, it's basically like having Alacrity passive all the time, just without having to use it. So Hellfire Ring is not a requirement on this build, although it's ideal. It's not a requirement. But yeah, this is basically Alacrity right here. It doesn't work quite the same as Alacrity. Alacrity is like a direct multiplier straight on top of every increase that you have to attack speed. But yeah, it feels like it, okay, and that's what really matters. Breath of Heaven infused with light, just for the extra regen. You can definitely change this out if you want blinding flash, like replenishing light or something like, something along those lines. You can feel free to change this out. It's not a requirement. This is basically like a free skill. Like if you want more damage, you can go Faith in the Light. You can go replenishing light if you're having troubles with spirits, so on and so forth. It's completely up to you. But ideally, like me personally, I do rather Breath of Heaven, because when I do attack, I want to be able to regen that life. Once again, this is up to you guys. It's really a choice of what you prefer. I like Annihilation because just in case my Ingion proc does actually go down, I still want to be able to move efficiently, and this allows me to do that. So I can just kill something, pick up the gold, pick up this buff from the proc from this, and I'm still moving really quick, which is why I run this. You do have the option of dropping over to Aurora and getting some extra damage if you really want to. With that, you could probably push up into T9 or something like that, but I find it really efficient just to sit on this. Beacon of Utah, obviously, for the cooldown reduction, most OP passive in the game for us. Momentum, we're always moving all over the map, so this is going to be up 24/7. Seize the Initiative, just to make sure we get a bit of extra attack speed. 1 for our Dashing Strike, because Dashing Strike, the amount you can cast actually depends on your attack speed. It speeds up the animation for some reason. So Seize the Initiative does actually help with that. And Determination, just for like when you're pulling everything in with Implosion, you're going to get a full proc of this every time. So yeah, it just blows things up. It's like these two right here synergize really well. If you're going for a Hellfire, which is definitely a possibility, like if you've got a crit dex Hellfire ring, like put probably Beacon of Utah on that. Like it's the most ideal thing because it's used across pretty much every build. So if you've got a Hellfire ring with Beacon of Utah crit, like that's pretty much GG across all builds that you're ever going to face this month. So you'd only ever want that one Hellfire. Unless you're going Broken Promises, where you'd probably want Beacon of Utah, cold dex crit damage, or cooldown reduction even. It just depends on your personal flavor, but the 1000 dex is really hard to give up. But yeah, you can drop this from your bar, put it on a Hellfire, and probably pick up Alacrity. Or yeah, you could probably pick up Alacrity. Or Fleet. No, you don't really need Fleet-footed. I'd probably go Alacrity if I was here. If I had a choice, I'd probably go Alacrity, just for the extra spirit regen. Because the more spirit you have, the more you can spam. While your Ingion's off cooldown, while you don't have that Ingion proc, it's best to be able to spam everything. But for argument's sake, we'll do one more rift, just to which one is it? It's this one, isn't it? Okay. We'll get back into this. We'll just do it real quick. I never really use the active, but the idea is to hold down shift the whole time until you actually find an elite pack. Like, you don't really want to kill everything until you find an elite pack, you know what I mean? So you're just going to spam all your... This is... well, okay. That was fun. Sorry about that. If you don't have gold, you're going to die. That's the truth of it. So now I have my Ingium prop. I can just dash up anywhere. Doesn't really matter what I'm doing. Like, I can just chew through everything. You don't... It's not really a good display of this thing, like when you're I really shouldn't have done this in the video. I'll go ahead and I'll finish off the rift, like, and I'll come back to that. There's nothing really there that I want other than the mats, so I don't really want to waste your time. See, as you can tell, you can just chew through elite packs with ease. But yeah, I'll go back to that. You guys don't need to watch that. Okay, these sort of maps are what you want. Like these big open maps. Like, as you can tell, my toughness will go up as soon as I find an elite pack to kill. It'd be good if I had a proc. Now I've got a proc. Now I can literally just run around and just own things. Like, it doesn't even take any damage at all. Is my monster bars not on? Okay, they won't. I was wondering why I couldn't see the monster bars, but yeah. Okay. Once again, the reason why I'm running out of spirit is my thing's not proccing, but it's whatever. I'm too tired to, like, this is the second time I've played this build today. So, like, I haven't been farming. I've been doing 60 runs all week, so I haven't actually been doing much of anything to do with actual farming itself. But yeah, I can do the Paragons again. It's really simple. Paragons, it's just main stat and movement speed. Offense, you're just looking for, in this order, it'd be crit hit damage, crit hit chance, cooldown reduction, and attack speed. In your defensive stats, you'll want all resistance, then you'll want life on hits, and where is it? You want all res, you want life, you want regen. You'd want all res, life, armor. That I've got it set up differently just because this is still on the old build that I was using last time. And in here you want life on hit, area damage, resource loss reduction, and gold climb. But yeah, nevertheless, like, you see how efficient this build is. Like, I don't really need to finish this rift, I don't think, but it's like, I'm not even doing anything, to be honest with you. I'm not even focusing. Like, I'm looking at OBS, recording, checking out the time and stuff like that while I'm playing this. Like, I'm not going to have it in gear. Well, I might. It depends on the... Where's his... There he is. Okay, cool. I want to just proc this Rift Guardian real quick. Like, okay, your Rift Guardian kill is going to be slower than your U6 build. Like, that's without a doubt, okay? That's just the way this build revolves. It's the way it works. It's just going to be slower than that. But your actual Rift clear is going to be faster, because you don't have the double proc things. Like, you'll clear elites faster than you will anything else on this build. So, yeah. It just depends on your personal preference, guys. I'll just go over this gear that I got, just so you can see it. Crap. Okay, but still crap. Yeah, well, that's basically it, boys. I hope you enjoyed the build. If you like it, give it a like. Dislike it, give it a dislike. Subscribe to the channel, it definitely helps out. I'll be putting Diablo fans links in the bottom. This will also go up on Diablo fans and the same thread that the Holy build was in, but I'm going to update it. And yeah, that's about it, boys. Thanks for watching. Facebook, Twitter, all that sort of stuff in the description and on the Diablo fans guide. I'll probably be streaming either tonight or tomorrow, the day that this goes up I'm talking about. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. Alright, peace out, boys.